Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. Today's guest is Marvin Speller, aka Coach M100, my man, my source for when I need to ask some questions about my health, try to get healthier. This is the dude I go to. He's nothing but 100 to me, and that's why we call him Coach M100. That's my own theory.
I appreciate that, my brother.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, I can't complain. There's a heat wave throughout the country, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can feel it now, especially where I'm where I'm at in this studio here. The
Yeah, I'll take the heat any day over cold weather, man. I'm sorry.
uh, I understand, and uh, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. The
Yeah.
so I've been keeping busy, including today. Got some less facial hair, as you can see.
Okay. Now you took it off, huh?
Yeah, it's too hot for it. It's and just said, hey, for a little bit, we'll see what happens.
I
Um,
hear that, man.
Mrs. Mrs. isn't happy, but hey,
Yeah, it's funny. Women do love the beard, right?
yeah,
Well, I like when I keep mine, and once a year I'll take off the beard, but a couple times I've taken off the mustache too, but it kind of looks too funny.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
yeah,
did. I took off the mustache one year, and uh, it, I look different. Look like a totally different person, you know.
right. I hear that. Right. I guess the next thing will be a bald head, right?
I don't. Even if I do shave it bald, my hair grows back relatively quickly, and so. But so today I went to the doctors,
Okay.
and looks like got some medicine coming my way again. Thyroid, um, blood pressure, which has always been a problem, and there was one other thing I can't remember right now, but just enough to get you aggravated. I've been taking the beetroot and thought I was doing pretty good, um, but they'll never recommend that you take both of them at the same time. So that's where I'm at as far as my health. Uh, and just nerve wracking. Got to keep up with it, I guess. I thought I was
Yeah.
doing a great job, but I guess I wasn't.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like you have to stay. It's kind of a daily chore, especially as you're getting older, right?
Hmm.
Um, I mean, especially some of the things that the lifestyle diseases, right? Whether it's cancer, heart problems, where you talk about diabetes, high blood pressure, whether you have problems with your heart from like valve problems, et cetera, and stuff like that. A lot of those continue to be lifestyle problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I can definitely empathize with you on there because, it's one of these things where you have to you have to change your whole habits that you do things all the time. And as you know, change is hard, right?
Yes.
Right? I mean, think about it. I mean, change is definitely hard, especially for a lot of people in different cultures, right? I would
True.
say when you start thinking about, the Cape Verdean culture, you talking about Black American culture, like the Hispanic culture, they're used to doing things generation after generation after generation. But what comes with that is generational curses, right? Because some of the things that happen in our cultures um, don't really don't really help us. Look like we got a little bit of delay, Charlie. Okay, looks like Charlie will be back in a few minutes. Um, okay, I can hear him coming in. Look like he's coming back in a few
All right.
seconds.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I got you. I can hear you now.
All right. The So if you can reflect back just about through 2 minutes worth.
Okay,
I'm
sure.
sorry.
No, no problem, man. I was talking about in different cultures. There's
Yep.
certain things we do generation after generation, and some of those things can be considered generational curses. Some of our lifestyle choices, how we handle things, our eating habits, our diet habits, our exercise habits, those things pretty have stayed pretty consistent over the years. There's a study I was researching. Do you know the life expectancy of melanated people in this country is on a third world level?
Wow. Wow. It shouldn't be like that.
Oh, it
We
shouldn't be.
and I think it's got a lot to do with the lack of responsibility for this country. Actually to provide us with a better health care. And then it also reflects back on us. Also,
Right.
we definitely have to stop depending on the government. To pass on these things or provide for us. When a lot of things, we talked about this, through yourself and some of the things you learned through Dr. Sebi. It's all natural stuff that we can kind of maintain a lot of things that we're going through. So, that I do remember from through our talks. But this healthcare is for some reason, and maybe it's greed, maybe it's greed on the part of the insurance companies, that just don't want to kind of uh, provide us with a better care. I mean, there's so many other countries that are doing well. The health conditions are far less than what we're going through.
Yeah, you think about it too. I mean, in this country, we're very much, you have so many different subgroups, right? So
Yes.
you go to certain countries, they're all the same, right? If I go to Japan, they're like 90 some percent Japanese. If I go into Korea, they're probably about 90 some percent Korean, right? You have so many different pockets of different nationalities in this country. And we're the pinnacle of what capitalism is, right? So there's a high degree of competing, right? So you can have some information that comes out and sometimes is baked and sourced within that community where other communities may not jump on board or go about it quickly. I'll give you an example. My mom was in the healthcare for over 50 some years, and she would tell me stories about how, the access to healthcare and lifestyle changes was tough for us. A lot of times you may go in and for a doctor's visit, and some things are neglected, and there's been many studies of where this kind of institutionalized racism within the healthcare sphere, where people are thought of like, well, they can handle more pain, or some things are dismissed. That and that's why it's important for us to have advocates, family members or close friends when we're going through healthcare problems, right?
Hmm.
I'll give you an example. I don't want to jump around. I want to get back to this point I was going to get at. Um, I remember Ben Affleck, the actor, been
Yes.
in a ton of movies, right? When he ran into problems, right? His ex-wife put him into rehab, right? A lot of times with us, the automatic thing that come up is that we got to be stronger. You know, we just got to do better and all that, and that is a generational curse, man. And it's kind of one of those things that were passed down to generation instead of like full advocacy amongst each other. And you think about it. I want to go back to what I was talking about, the life expectancy. So when you think about black people, I don't care wherever you come, Cape Verde, Africa, Russia, wherever, America. Do you know the life expectancy for black males is?
I
Take a
give
guess.
it 70, 75.
No, 68.
Wow.
So white females is 80.
Yeah.
But check this out.
Yep.
We lost 3 years during the pandemic. There's a whole host of reasons behind that, right? Lifestyle changes, right? A lot of people were home. They were sedentary. They were sitting down all day, right?
Yes.
We didn't go out and exercise more. We still ate the same things. We had the stress. Stress was through the roof, right?
Yes.
And we of all people collectively have not done well with stress. And so what are you seeing more? You're seeing more lifestyle diseases get worse from that. You're finding more suicides. You're finding more mental illness amongst us, and I can go on and on and on and on. Right.
It's
So that's kind of the that's kind of the gloomy story with it, right? But there is hope. Um, and there is hope because I think more people are saying, okay, we got to do some things. So I think the interest has started, right? More and
yes.
more people are trying to do things to get themselves healthy. So there is avenues to improve on that. My concern sometimes is that we're not moving quick enough, and
Okay.
sometimes we're kind of last to the dance, right?
Yes.
What you call CV time or CP time, right, or whatever,
Yep.
right? Um, so that's kind of some of my concerns, right? And that's why one of the things I do kind of as a wellness coach, I work on the mental and the physical side as well. But I've actually transitioned where I'm helping people who are mental health caregivers
Okay.
because I've gone through it myself, my brother. And I'm telling you, the people who are caring for other people, they need just as much support as the people who are going through the actual act itself.
Sure. And it's I found that some patients are actually going through more caregivers than the patients, and when the patient's in the worst condition of their life, sometimes the caregivers are kind of leaving them, poor health, um, and but anyways, it's my wish fear is I didn't expect to live this long, and I remember you telling me a story about the life expectancy in your family was kind of low too. So um, I always thought that right at this age right now is probably the last part of my life. Um, and just because of everything that I've seen around me amongst the family, whether it's cancer, just poor health, dialysis, and so on and so forth. So
Right,
I just never expected to live this long.
right. Well, you are, and you never know, man. You might have another 50 years in you, my brother.
Shoot, I hope so. I hope so. the let's go into the health sessions. 6 week sessions, where you meet up with a group of people and through Zoom. Let's talk more about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up. I put down the date, so I'm gonna start it on 7/19. So
Okay.
I'm gonna give it some time to bake.
Okay.
To get some people involved and get people excited about it. Um, there's a Cape Verdean festival next month, and I want to talk about it with the people and all. Patrick Rodriguez,
Okay.
I'm going to get with him. I'm going to get with him and talk to him about some mental health um, web series. We want to get going with that to really help people out. So there's a lot of things that are percolating, and that happens to be one of the things. Really, we have to hit this mental health thing head on, and I find that as important as the health part. And I'm telling you that from firsthand experience. Before I talk about my 6 week course, as you know, we have a nonprofit where we're out here helping the unhoused and people who are going through domestic violence. And it was a really eye-opening experience, man. And what I see, you take a city like Los Angeles. The whole metro area is about 10 million people, right?
Yes.
Black folks only make up like 10% of the population. So we got a million people, right? But 45% of the people are homeless are black people. So if you're just looking at sheer numbers, it's an epidemic, right? And you're just talking about one city. I guarantee you can take that across the whole country and you'll see there's a serious epidemic mentally from us as a people. And that's why it's like one of our family members who is a therapist. And this isn't an undertaking that I'm just going to take on my own. I want to have a group of people come together. And a lot of times you may have to segregate it. You got the general population, you have the women, but especially the men. The men need something, right? Where I'm
Yes.
not feeling my best, and we're taught to be tough and strong, but next thing you know, so and so he's dropping dead off a stroke or something that was stress related, right? So I'm going to do that. But the wellness group I want to have starts on July the 19th.
Okay.
I really want to do it with at least 10 people because I think there's a lot of synergy that comes from that and people bouncing things off of it from that. Um, and Charlie, I want to invite you back on that for
Okay.
at least the first couple sessions, man.
Sure.
Just come on,
That,
man. I just want you just to come back on and if you feel like at that point you need to reinvigorate yourself, get yourself going again and reestablishing some habits.
yeah, it's definitely something that I enjoy. First of all, I mean, so I'm gonna definitely tune into that. Um, you can guarantee that I'm gonna do that. Only because of getting new information, especially with this appointment that I had today.
Right,
Um, and so with that and with that, you and I gotta maybe perhaps discuss some other things. But
right,
if I do it in a group setting, then I help myself and I help some others. So because that old saying that, oh, I don't want to ask this or that. It seems
right,
like it's a stupid question. So, and then all of a sudden, someone else asks the question, the same type of question. So,
right.
that's why I want to kind of basically,
Right.
you got me on board, brother. You got me on
Okay.
board.
And really, I guess the biggest message with this group I want to share, man, there's hope for us. There's a path forward. I would always say I don't have all the answers. I'm discovering something new all the time. But collectively, I think people can come together and just build upon this mental and health aspect of what we do because it's kind of one of these things, right? It's like when you have a collective amount of people coming together, solutions start to come up, right?
Yes.
We know the facts. We know the facts out there on our health, but the main thing I want people to leave with this message is that there is hope. It can be done, and it will be done. I just think people coming together and the hardest thing I was saying is just the habits, man. Changing your habits is sometimes tough, and sometimes we can do things collectively to break down the habits because when you think about what is it costing you to do nothing. What is costing you is that you're seeing people that you love not be here anymore. You're seeing yourself not feel your best. So and it's just one of those things where it has to be done. And I think that the time is now. We don't want to look back each year. The life expectancy for us is continuing to go down, and we're like, well, why? Because at that point, we should be thinking to ourselves, we got to own this and do something about it and really move forward with it.
True. The now, do you think there's a combination of you know male and female on this group? What are you trying to do?
Well, yeah, for the wellness group, the 19th, absolutely. The um, mental health group that I'm going to do, with Patrick and others, I want to do many different groups.
Okay.
Just be a part of it and just help out and impart the knowledge I have, and also learn some things as well. Because I'll go back and say, listen, man, I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers, but what I have is effective. What I have is something that you can build upon, right? It's like building a house. You got somebody that can do the foundation. You got somebody who can do the frame, the sheetrock, and then the paint, and then the fixtures inside as well. So I think collectively, there's a lot of things we can do because Charlie, you alluded to it, man. Nobody's gonna come and save us, man. It's just not gonna happen, especially in this environment I was going back to. We're in a capitalistic society, man, which is straight up competition. And honestly, I I hope that message reverberates with us, man. Is that in this society, capitalistic society, people compete, groups compete, the subgroups compete, and you see it all the time. I'll give you an example, man. Here in the Los Angeles area, I think we talked about before Glendale.
Hmm.
Glendale used to be a thriving community for everybody. It was always a low black population because it was a sundown town, right? And then, 30, 35 years ago, Armenians came over and started settling in that area, right?
Hmm.
And now they got their businesses. They practice group economics. You know, I'll take a I'll take a page that's already out there. Group economics. People come together. Dr. Claude Anderson. I think I mentioned him before. People come together and they do things together and they grow together. And I think for our survival, we have to operate like a hive. That because no one's going to come and save us, man.
So true. It's I don't know where we get away from, just that conversation, that communication. I don't know where that, what year, what decade, it just kind of left. You know, it, it it just left people from communicating with each other about things like this, health or wellness, or stability, financially. I just don't know where it was all of a sudden just left behind, and you know, it's amazing. I remember having conversations, at the probably age of between 16 and 18, where people in my family were kind of expecting me to grow, you know, coming into that manhood and talking to you about different things. But for some reason, I don't know why it's gone and where it's left us. It's amazing.
Well, I'll ask you that question, Charlie. And I think that's a great point. I think about you doing this podcast, man.
Yep.
You started with an idea and you brought people on to highlight them, right? To me, it was one of the most selfless acts out there, right? Right? You weren't asking for anything. You just wanted to bring people together and all that, right?
Yes.
So somebody like you, and I love you to death, brother, but you know what?
I got
You
you.
get you get high praise for what you do, man. And I see, and this is the thing, right? We were talking about competing, right? We should compete with other groups, but we should have zero tolerance for us to compete within our own group. And that is the biggest piece that we're missing, man. That is the number one piece, is that we compete within our groups instead of trying to support and uplift each other. You know what I'm saying? I'll give a shout out to my wife here. She was like, I got Miss Anika Barbosa. She should be on your thing,
Hmm.
right? Anika has done that for many people as well. And so that's my whole thing about, we should do more of calling out the people who do those things. But at the same time, there was a point in time we used to hold each other accountable. When we didn't do right by each other. We don't do that anymore. It's like it's taboo.
Yeah,
We know so and so down the street don't support their own. But you know what? We may even still help that person out. And that type of behavior is destructive, and it needs to stop, man. And so
true.
that's just calling it what it is, my brother.
I hear you. Um, and I mean, we're all spending money. We're all spending money. We're actually all sending out that knowledge on a daily basis. So we're doing all the things that someone like you as a business owner may need. You know, financially, you like to have that income coming to you, so you can provide for your family, and
Right.
then in yourself, you're also supporting your friends, your family, your little network. And I don't know why we don't um, kind of accept that. Like you said, it's taboo. It's just amazing that it's like pulling teeth. Well, and like some people will travel from here, go 50 miles from here, spend some money, wherein they could actually just went a mile to 2 miles down the street and got the same project, same merchandise, or they're looking for someone that's crafty and whatever it may be, technologies, music, whatever it is, and they go 50 miles away from home when it was actually only 2, 3, 4 miles away from home.
Right.
And I don't get that. I just don't get that. You know, it's I don't know. I'm not. I guess I'm not a genius, brother. I guess it's not there.
Man, I'll tell you, if we could collectively solve that, man, we'd be a whole lot. That number I gave you, 68, would go up to 80 if we could just do that,
Yeah,
right? The compete. I remember growing up. I'm 52 years old, brother. I remember when I was growing up, man. I remember people seeing each other when I was little, and there was a camaraderie, right?
yes,
And I think, we can learn to get back, or at least show that to the younger generation, right? Because I think the younger generation looks up and they're like, well, what do they see? What do they see from us? And I think that's something that may be the challenge for all of us, right? What more can we do to try to support and help, to lead by example, to help the younger generation?
so true. I the Some of the things like I noticed that it's like a struggle. Like, and this is health wise. Why is getting a market like Whole Foods in this area so difficult? I just don't get it. And when you walk around and you drive around the community, you see an empty plaza there, empty plaza there. Whole Foods can go there, it can go there, and it's like a struggle. And me, I was in politics for a little bit. Try to do the best thing try to do the best I can to get in place, so I could be sitting in one of those seats and make those decisions. And we don't. we don't push for those things.
No.
And but to push for something else, and I'm not going to mess with anybody else's money, but some other entity, or to get those things in the city. You see the politicians and the groupies all pushing, pushing, pushing on a daily basis to get that in there. Get that within the city. And I mean, it's one thing Whole Foods does. It makes us healthier, and it provides some jobs. And it provides you know, some money to the city also. Each
Right.
business got to pay the city some money. We got to pay mama and papa the money to be in the city. But I just don't get it.
You
Um,
know, you ordered from Herbally Grounded, right?
did I?
A couple months ago.
Yes, I
Okay,
think yes, yes I
man,
did.
I've been trying to get them to come to LA. You know what I'm saying? And because of what they do and what they stand for, they're all about the community. They're all about giving local entrepreneurs a place within their business to sell their products. They sell local products, man. They're just a wonderful business, and they ethos around providing for the community is just through the roof, right?
Yes,
Um, I'm sure you all have something like that there, right? Where you guys can open your own grocery stores and just get that synergy of health, right? Because sometimes it starts from there, right?
yes it does.
Um, and what I love about Herbally Grounded, you walk in there, man, it's all walks of life walking in there, right? And everybody's in there with a single purpose, is to get healthier, right? So I think, and they just opened a third location in Nevada. And so I think sometimes when we talk about solutions, right, that collective conscious of being healthy and it grows, right? Because somebody who doesn't want to be healthy doesn't exist in that space. It's the people that want to be healthy and do things, right? And so we're talking about solutions, right? I think the collective consciousness of certain people is kind of a tiered effect where one person wants to do it. Okay, it's a great idea. Well, let's get other like-minded people to do stuff like that. So I think that might be a good thing for that area, man. Just really people coming together from a set purpose, right? Because
Hmm.
everybody's not going to be into everything, right? So you
Yeah,
could start with that. A couple people coming together, a couple people trying to grow their own food and sell it and stuff like that. I really think the grassroots really helps grow or influence the health of the masses.
yeah. We have like the organic food markets, which they're pretty good, but I just think they could be a whole lot bigger. And then again, it could be a couple of reasons why. You know,
Right,
some farmers maybe just don't want to come into the city to do that. They're doing well on their own land and their own little food stands. So um, but when they do come, you're getting good quality stuff.
right,
Um, and like you said, it's like a network, but things just last just a little bit. It's like a fad. It'll go for a season or two, and then all of a sudden it fades out.
right.
Um, so
And sometimes Charlie, sometimes you got to go to the people.
yeah,
So sometimes it's great in theory to have a pathway for people to be healthy, but sometimes you got to go get them.
yeah,
Like, hey, you got this situation here, you got this challenge here. This is what I can do to help you. When do you want to get started with it?
true.
I mean, honestly, man, I mean, and I'll use that example like Ben Affleck. I use that strategically because sometimes you just got to go get the people. And some people don't even realize that they're unhealthy, right? Sometimes people realize, well, I've been doing this way forever and it's worked in my family for generations, right? So
So
now
true.
sometimes you got to go to the people and let them know, not beat them over the head with it like, damn, you've been eating terrible. I'm going to help you. No, just let them, just give them options and what's in it for them. And I really think that approach is really going to help people, right?
Yes, I agree.
Right. When we had our sessions, right?
Yep.
I didn't beat you guys up because I knew this and you guys didn't know that. It's like, no, I'm just trying to help you guys take full ownership of your own health, right? That's
True.
what it's about, man.
Yeah,
Truly, just going to the people.
and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't hard to take ownership for yourself. It's you know. But the one thing I liked about you, you let us. You were saying it takes time. It's a process. You know, grab what you can. You know, baby steps. And
Yep.
because it's life, it's all life changing.
Life
Um,
changes, brother.
you would think that if you're telling me something about you know pieces of bread and say, well, I'll get rid of it, and then I've realized that that's very difficult. Especially for everything that I was eating all my life, these 54 years, that you know there was a piece of bread
Yep.
alongside of it, no matter whether it was lunch, breakfast, lunch or dinner, it was always there. So
Right.
um, you would think that it's not difficult, but it was, and it does get difficult at times. But
Absolutely, man.
you got to know the alternatives, and that was my mistake. That you know, alternatives other than bread. What are they? What could you use? I didn't seek too many of them. But I think that there is something that I could possibly use for the same reasons I'm using bread, at my daily meal now. Um,
Right.
so
Yeah, and that's like one of the things we were talking about with bread. I mean, you use spelt bread, right?
yep,
Spelt bread is really good. Spelt bread has been around forever, and it's really good for people that are O positive. Um, sourdough. Sourdough's a great alternative, right?
yeah,
Because it doesn't have the glycemic impact on your blood sugar like regular bread does, right?
and
And
I actually,
I always said, man, it's hard to totally change everything in your diet, not unless you have serious health problems, right?
yes,
Just
I,
being proactive with that, right? But
and
there's
I,
but there's always alternatives, right?
and I actually like sourdough. So, um,
Right.
you know, but,
Did you see what my wife posted the other day? I didn't know she was gonna post it. So we went to this place in Florence is in Oklahoma City a couple months ago, right?
hmm
And I'm just saying to myself all the time, man, I got to get this chicken again, right? I don't like to eat fried chicken too often, right? Of course, occasionally I do. I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to create it at home, I'm gonna make a sort of healthy, right?
yeah,
So I got the grapeseed oil to fry the chicken in, no lard, definitely no Crisco, right? Because
hmm
Crisco's got soy products in it. And it starts to get rancid at high heat. So I used the grapeseed oil. Obviously, I got good chicken, right? I knew the spices I was using. I wasn't using crappy spices, right?
hmm
But instead of flour, I used arrowroot.
hmm.
Yep, arrowroot is a good flour to fry things in. If you have to have something fried, right? Baking or grilled is a whole lot better. But if you have to have something fried, arrowroot, it's a good flour to fry it in.
It's the first time I'm hearing of that. Hmm, what's the
So
pro? Is that something that's common? Is it?
arrowroot is
Yeah.
is well, do you guys have Sprouts out in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Okay, if you have Sprouts or Whole Foods, you can find arrowroot.
Okay.
Yeah. Arrowroot is good if you need to fry something. I mean, you won't miss regular flour because you know what flour does to you, right?
Yes, and
It just shoots your blood sugar through the roof, brother.
and we have, and you look at it, it's used in so many things, tons of
Right.
things. There was something I seen on, I can't think of the name of it now, but it's mainly it's used in instead of flour, it's used in Asian cultures. I can't think of the name of it. Kind of looks like it, but it's definitely a whole lot better for you. I can't think of the name of it. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
Yeah, I mean, so I remember when we were talking before in our group, and I'll share it for the audience. There's a ton of different flour alternatives out there, right? Just turn the bag around and look at what is the what is the amount of carbs on there. Anything over 15, 16 carbs per serving will shoot your blood sugar up, right? So you get the bag, nice, pretty bag, looks good. Flip that thing over, man, and look at the amount of carbs on there, right? Anything over 15, 18, 20, you know it's going to start to shoot your blood sugar up. And so, how do you know if the food that you ate is probably not the best for you, right? When you eat, does it feel like your body's digesting it and it's feeling nourishing?
Hmm.
Or does it feel like it want to lock you on the couch and go to sleep, right? So if you're feeling locked in the couch, it probably wasn't the best for you, right? As long as you don't eat like that all the time, I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, right? Because I've always say all the diets pretty much work. It's your discipline around it, right?
True.
And you can't sit around it. You can if you want, eat a salad all day long. Now, if you're not in your best health, I would strongly recommend most of the greens or even fasting as well. Knowing how to fast, though, right? We talked about
True.
before, you can't fast in the wintertime because your body's in a different mode. It's in the store mode. But then spring, summer start to be released, and then you'll go back in the storing mode in the fall.
Yeah, it's the fasting. I tried it not too long ago, but I tried it for 2 days. And I figured if I can do it for 2 days, I'd probably be able to do it for a week. Um, so I did pretty well.
That's good, man.
And but it's just timing.
Right.
Timing. You gotta be disciplined, especially towards it's your. What I found is that you know with my family not eating or committing to a fasting, so things get thrown off. They're
Yep.
eating at a certain time. I'm not. But you got to kind of. It's better when they're all in unison with you and maybe trying to give it a shot. With you.
Right.
Uh, that would be great. But when you're trying to do it by yourself,
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it
It
puts
definitely be
it,
challenging.
yeah, puts a little struggle on. Not too much, but you know, if you're committed to it, it's definitely. I see you can see the weight loss. Definitely happening. So, you know, but
How's walking, my man?
walking I always liked. Definitely. Routine's going to really pick up with us, mainly because my wife really wants to do it now, so it's going to pick up a little bit more as
That's
far as
great.
how many times a week we do it. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Can you do it every day?
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's walking. I will still say walking, especially when you start doing a fast walk and getting some weight training in as well. And it could be a push up, right? Could be a pull up, right? But that whole thing of walking and getting moving is everything. Because you think about it. What are we doing right now? We're sitting down, right?
Sitting down. Yep.
W- What do we do when we're sleeping? We're laying down, right?
Hmm.
We got to get moving. That's the one thing, especially as you get older, man. You got to get moving, and that's that. And some people, man, they eat whatever they want to eat. Think about when you were younger, right? Um, you were a nice, young, strapping young fella, right?
Hmm.
And how long were you a police officer?
31 years.
Okay.
Oh,
Can you
20,
think?
30 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Can you think back to when you went through a police academy? You had to be in great shape, right?
Hmm.
You had to ace that thing, right?
Try the best I could to.
Okay, there you go, right? And so
Yeah.
you were in absolute great shape. You're probably always moving, doing stuff. But as we get older, we start to slow down a little bit, right? And that's a there's good and bad to that, right? But it forces us to really um the what we do now determines how we live when we get older. So older and older you get, I mean, you got to continue to exercise, and that's just everything. Your body wants it. Your body craves it.
Yeah.
Um,
I remember we were talking about, stretching, flexibility and stretching on a daily basis, and
yep.
not too many people do that, But if you're exercising, you're doing any kind of calisthenics, you know,
Right.
anybody should know, especially doing all that, that you should be stretching before you walk, before you do
Right.
anything, weight training, whatever it may be. It's something that should happen automatically, unless you're just totally not even have no idea about, your body and athleticism, and that you just would just think that you can jump on a court or kind of speed walk or without any kind of stretching. You're wondering why you go off the side of a curb and then all of a sudden your ankle's twisted a little bit worse than probably if you just flexed it out, or stretched it out. You might have saved some injury,
Right.
but that flexibility and stretching was definitely something that when we were in the session, I already know anyways, but I like that how you kind of stress that and make sure you explain it to myself and Rob that that's something we should be doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think back then we talked about you hear it a lot of time. Elderly people fall, right? They're never the same again.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of elderly people are not nimble. Then on top of that, not drinking enough water, right? So, but just being nimble and stretching, I mean, that'll help you tremendously anyway, right?
Sure.
I'm of a firm belief that everybody should be able to do a split. I know I can't. I'm actually working towards it now. Um, all those years I did other different types of exercises, right? I was trying to be as flexible as I can, right? And I think I took it for granted, to be honest, right?
Hmm.
I remember when I was 38 years old, man. I went out there in the softball field, right? And I was playing softball, man, and I ran from home plate to second base. I was trying to run the second and third as fast as I can, and my hamstring had pulled. And
Hmm.
I've never had a feeling like that my whole life, man. I was like, oh man, it's because I wasn't as flexible as I needed to be, and your mind will tell you you can do certain things, right? But your
Hmm.
body's like, no, 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 no.
And even the recovery time takes a while,
Oh
So
yeah, the older you get.
and but I don't know. As much as I miss sports and it's part of my life, uh, I definitely think a couple of think second and third thoughts whether I'm going to get out there again. Only because after surgeries and so on and so forth. But my cousin, he's 70 years old, 71. He's going on. He's still playing softball all over the country.
That's great, man. I love to hear that stuff, man.
So
Love to
proud,
hear it.
so proud of him. But so but he's a guy that does the right thing, keeps himself in shape, and he could do it at that age. And I still think he can do it for another 6 years if he wanted to.
See, that's the thing, right? Up to a certain point, man, age can be just a number,
Hmm.
right? If you're taking your health serious, man, there's people running marathons in their 80s, man. I've um when Kristen and I did the post about Florence's, the place we
Yes.
went to, man, she's 90 years old, still cooking in her kitchen, man. I mean, come on.
Hmm.
You've got some and you've got some 80-year-olds you run into, right?
Yes.
And they can barely walk, right? And you think about some people where she kept herself busy, right? She's always moving. She's always, getting it done every single day, but she also lives with a purpose every single day. And she gets up, she gets down there and makes it go. And you know what she told us? Many times she was gonna quit, but her daughter was like, "Come on, let's keep it going, right?"
Hmm.
And she was smart as a whip, right? She was sharp in her mind too, man.
And sometimes that's all you need if you're staying active. Those things. Your
Right.
physical and mental thing go together. It definitely goes together.
Absolutely.
So, but all right, my brother, we got probably a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
I just want to I got the date. July 19th.
Yeah,
Um,
July 19th. Yeah.
do that again through Zoom, correct?
Yeah, I'll do it through Zoom, or I may be testing on another platform
Okay. You
that's
know.
got greater functionality.
Okay. Sure.
Um, but yeah, I'll ask you to, put that out there because I mean we're just trying to get a movement to help people, man, help people be healthy. Like I said, when I saw that number 68 and after the pandemic has gotten worse, there's work to be done, and it's a collective work because one person can't solve it. One person, like I said, doesn't have like myself. I don't have all the answers, but I want to give it a shot to help as many people as possible. I'd love to get 10 on this group. Just get it going and just try to get a movement to help people because man, I've seen it. I've seen what can happen and to help people feel better about life. When a lot of times you can have all the money in the world, all the family members, but man, when you don't have your health, you don't really have anything. And
True.
what does that really cost you in time and effort?
Yeah. It's um, this is very essential. And in fact, Marvin, could you create an ad for me or something that I could kind of
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
do a visual on a
Yeah.
constant basis, whether it's through my through the podcast, you know, um, and actually just see if I can generate. Everyone's visual. A lot of people are visual, so I like to have something up there, that I can constantly remind people on a daily basis up until that July 19th date.
Okay. I'll get
Yeah.
that to you for
All
sure.
right. The, so you guys have been the Speller family has definitely been wonderful to me, um, and you're helping on this podcast. They're actually helping me get other guests on this podcast, and I'm really, really, you know, my heart, I'm really grateful for that. But best of all, out of all this that you and I are doing, the best thing I get out of it is our friendship, you know, and
Likewise.
and I actually you know think of you as family and what you are. So we
Yeah.
have You need me in any kind of way possible, please reach out to me, and we
Yeah.
can talk.
Likewise, brother. Yeah.
This is your podcast. Come on anytime. I
I
mean,
appreciate that.
look how quick we did this one.
Yep.
Hey, let's do Tuesday, and hey, here we are. Um, so I want to make sure that we constantly get you on there on a monthly basis. I don't,
You got me. You
I
got me,
don't.
and I have it for the masses too.
Okay,
Love for them to come on and have a bunch of questions and the beauty of this too, Charlie. I wish I wish I would have mentioned this. I have access to a whole family of people I can reach out to for certain things, right? I
hmm
mean, all sorts of people who know a lot of stuff, and so I try to look at it from a hive mind perspective, where somebody has someone has a problem. I may not know the answer, but I know someone that does.
yes,
Especially when it comes to health and wellness piece, man, because that this is what this is about, man.
it's I mean, I've gained so much knowledge just in this last, you know, 6 months that you and I have been talking, and I want others to kind of jump on this, build a relationship with you, so they can reach out because as poor as I think my health is, there's so many people that are a whole lot worse condition than I am, and just hope that they're out there listening, and we can get them on track, especially to become a whole lot healthier.
Yeah, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you let your audience know? I don't know if you could do it today or whenever. My contact number. You can give them my contact number, my email as well. If they have any questions, I'll be glad to help them. And like I said, if I don't have the answer, I'm sure I can find somebody that can help out.
Oh, I think we're gonna do something even better. You and I got to create something where we're actually putting something on the bottom line in each of these podcasts, and then
Okay.
also go into the Really Charlie podcast group on Facebook and constantly advertise something on there.
Okay.
So, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'll work on that today, and definitely get that out there. Find that perfect picture of you, and basically just throw the information out there, and make sure that we get it out there.
Okay.
Um, and if you see something you don't like, then you say, hey, you know, CP, try something else, and then I'll do that. All right.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate that.
All right. Well, brother,
Okay. All right, my
thank you
brother.
very, thank you
All right.
very much.
All
Give the
right.
wife a high five for me.
I will, man. Much love to you, brother, and much love to your family, and my best, and much love to the viewing audience, past, present, and future.
Exactly. Great dude, man. Thank you. And
All right. Thanks, brother.
all right. God
Okay.
bless.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye
All
bye.
right.
All right. Marvin Speller, Coach M100. Definitely, he's here. He's here for the best interest of you, for society. He just wants to make us all much, much healthier. And I you want to get him on this podcast quite often, every month, just so we can go back and forth as friends, And I also go back and forth with you all, so you can kind of spit those questions on the comment section and let them know. But as you heard at the end, in the conclusion that we're going to try to set up something where, he's reachable, so you all will have that one-on-one. Where there's no middle person like me. You two, you guys and girls, will have that one-on-one with Coach, and where he can talk to you about, various things that you may are going through, um, or things that you're trying to get better in your life, as far as health wise. All right, everyone. Got a couple of more podcasts this week. Anika Barboza, producer, director, movie star, director of a assisted living home that she has. She'll be here on the 1st, and on July 2nd, we will have Raheem, um, local artist, definitely going to do his thing on there. So, doing my best to keep these guests coming to you live, where we highlight them. They come on this podcast and make me look good by just showing their craft and all the things that they do. So we got Anika Barboza and Raheem. Raheem has been doing great things. Proud of him. And Anika, she's amazing. Definitely amazing. Doing so many things. And I can't wait to have her on there. All right, everyone. I'll see you on the 1st, 7 p.m. And continue to support the Really Charlie podcast here on StreamYard, Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Like the episodes. It's really important. And always comments and leave comments for the guests, because they go back on this podcast and check out things. And so thank you very much. Have a good night. Stay cool. Heat wave all over the country. So stay cool and fresh and hydrate. Take care, y'all.